Happy 4th of July. It's Mishel, Deception Bytes, and I am back bringing you more Q. Now, I'm going to be starting with the post from yesterday because I didn't post yesterday. I do apologize, but sometimes life interferes. And I'm going to go over the post from today as well. So by the end of this video, we should be caught up. There is a lot to go over, but there's some really, really interesting stuff here. So, new stuff for me. Possibly for you too, probably. All right, so the first one is from July 3rd that we've picking up from where we left off in the last video. Q gives us a link here to follow, and then he says, reread drops regarding Five Eyes. Five Eye will be extremely important going forward. UK primary turn taken. So he's saying there's been a turn taken in the UK primary. FBI, DOJ to state / Hussein White House, including CIA / other appointments start to foreign bad actors. Rod Rosenstein deadline? Well, it's July 5th. So that's tomorrow. Actually, it's like an hour and a half from now because it's 10:22 Eastern time. So, I'm not exactly sure what he means here. FBI, DOJ to state, Hussein White House, including CIA, other appointments start to foreign bad actors. I guess I'm not exactly sure what he means by this line or what he is saying. Rod Rosenstein deadline, we have the server, Q. Now that is freaking huge. I know people tell me not to use the word huge because it's not a word, but it is now. If Shakespeare can make up words, then why can't we? We can. We will. We did. Huge. So, now let's go out and take a look at this. Nunes refers 10 Obama officials to House Judiciary and Oversight Joint Task Force. Nunes refers Obama officials to Joint Task Force. So, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes on Monday referred 10 current former U.S. officials to the House Judiciary and Oversight and Government Reform Committee's Joint Task Force as it investigates potential DOJ and FBI wrongdoings related to the Trump-Russia probe. Nunes, in a letter to the chairman of both committees obtained by Breitbart News, listed 10 current and former U.S. officials who have received or provided information relevant to their investigation. The list includes a number of U.S. officials who were working at the U.S. Embassy in London, where the alleged conversation between then Australia's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Alexander Downer, and then Trump campaign advisor George Papadopoulos in May 2016 was reported. Now, interviews with those officials could reveal whether the FBI lied when it said it had begun investigating the Trump campaign on July 31st, 2016, after it received information from Downer after stolen Democratic National Committee emails were published on July 22nd, 2016. Links to the New York Times and the Washington Post earlier this year revealed that an FBI and CIA informant, Stefan Halper, reached out to then Trump campaign advisor Carter Page as early as June 2016, revealing that the FBI may have actually started its investigation of the Trump campaign much earlier than stated. The circumstances around the Papadopoulos conversation are also not clear. Papadopoulos was reportedly told by a Maltese professor named Joseph Mifsud that Russia had dirt on Hillary Clinton in the form of emails. Downer requested a meeting with Papadopoulos weeks afterwards. Papadopoulos reportedly told Downer in May 2016 that he was told Russia had dirt on Clinton but did not specify emails. The conversation was reportedly passed down from Downer to AMB. I'm not sure what that is a short form for, but I'm pretty sure that you guys will know. So if it twigs somebody's memory, put it in the comments below. I'd appreciate it. So AMB, Joe Hockey, who is Australia's ambassador. Sorry. Okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Ambassador Joe Hockey who is Australia's ambassador to the United States. Hockey reportedly passed on the conversation to the U.S. after the emails were released on June 22nd, 2016. Normally, intelligence passed on from a member of the Five Eyes Alliance, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the UK, and the US, to another member comes through an official channel for intelligence sharing. However, Nunes, upon reviewing the document that formally launched the FBI's investigation, said there was no intelligence shared through that official channel, meaning that the intelligence was shared through unofficial means, which, of course, would make sense. On May 31st, the Wall Street Journal's Kimberly Strassel reported that Hockey neither transmitted any information to the FBI nor was approached by the U.S. about the tip. Rather, she reported, it was Mr. Downer who at some point decided to convey his information to the U.S. Embassy in London. U.S. officials who were serving at the U.S. Embassy in London listed in Nunes' letter include Elizabeth Dibble, Louis Lukens, and Thomas Williams. Dibble served as the deputy chief of mission at the embassy from 2013 through July 2016. Previously, she served as a principal deputy assistant secretary in the State Department's Bureau of Near Eastern Affairs from 2011 to 2013. Lukens is the current deputy of chief of mission at the embassy, who has served there since August 2016. Williams serves as the Minister Counsel for Political Affairs at the embassy, where he has served since at least December 2015. Nunes' letter also lists State Department officials in Washington who have admitted to receiving information from ex-British spy Christopher Steele, who was hired by Fusion GPS to dig up ties between then-candidate Donald Trump and Russia for the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee. Those officials are Jonathan Weiner and Victoria Nuland. Weiner admitted in an op-ed piece earlier this year that Steele, a longtime contact, gave him a summary of what he had found and that he had passed it on to Nuland, who advised Weiner to tell Steele to give it to FBI. Nuland admitted during a hearing that she learned of the information as early as mid-July 2016. The information from Steele in the form of a dossier included several salacious claims that have been unverified to this date. Nuland has also admitted, and let me tell you, if they could have found anything and verified that, it would be verified, because they have spent millions and millions of taxpayers' money on this retarded investigation. Sorry, that's not a very politically correct word, but yes, the situation is absolutely, ludicrous. I guess that would be the word. Nuland has also admitted that she was responsible for ringing an alarm bell early on during the campaign of potential ties between Trump and Russia. Her husband, Bob Kagan, is a neoconservative scholar who left the Republican Party over Trump's nomination. At the time she received the dossier summary, Nuland was the top State Department official for Russia affairs, serving as the Assistant Secretary of State for European and Eurasian affairs. Nunes' letter also lists Colin Kahl, former National Security Advisor to former Vice President Joe Biden, another former Biden aide, and former journalist Shayla Murray, who is married to a Fusion GPS executive, Neil King Jr., as well as former top Clinton State Department aide and campaign official Jake Sullivan. Now, I know that was a lot, but it's really important. So let's go back. And this makes sense then, because these people referred are FBI, DOJ, state, Hussein White House, including CIA, other appointments start to foreign bad actors. So these are the people that have been referred to the House Judiciary Oversight Task Force. So, and that is big news. We have the server. Now, what does the server contain? Everything. Yes, this is very good news. So let's go up to the next one. And Q, he told us to go over the posts with the Five Eyes, and so he's provided it for us. That's why I didn't go out and find them, because Q actually in his next post provides them for us, which is very kind, so it takes less digging. So here we have what we just looked at here, with the last line being we have the server, Q, and then he goes down to another July 3rd post, and it says normally intelligence passed on from a member of the Five Eyes Alliance, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the UK, and the US, to another member comes through an official channel for intelligence sharing. However, Nunes, upon reviewing the document that formally launched the FBI's investigation, said there was no intelligence shared through that official channel, meaning that the intelligence was shared through unofficial channels or means, right? Q. And then we go down to this one, which is actually from May 10th, 2018. And it's Q's post from that time. It says, read below slowly and carefully. Five Eyes. Why do former dignitaries still hold security clearance? U.S. to U.S. equals logged, flagged, recorded. U.S. in New Zealand equals no logs, no flags, no records, equals U.S. security clearance, authorized Five Eye view plus document take. Now, what he's saying here is if you are a U.S. citizen or a U.S. dignitary or whatever, and you're wanting to look up information on someone in the U.S., it is logged, flagged, and recorded. However, if this same U.S. official or dignitary or whatever is actually in New Zealand, as who was just in New Zealand? Hillary Clinton, not that long ago, and she got a big chunk of money. So what he's saying is, well, a U.S. dignitary in New Zealand, there's no logs, no flags, no records, equals U.S. security clearance, authorized Five Eye view plus document take. So she might have been flagged in the U.S. system, but not in the New Zealand system, and was able to get in with no logs, no flags, no records. So that is quite important, I guess, to keep in mind for the future. Clearance, authorized Five Eye view plus document take, read above slow and carefully. Why do we allow former dignitaries security clearance? Welcome to the deep state. Future to prove past. Q. Now, I really don't know why we allow former dignitaries security clearance, but I don't think it's a good idea, and I think that the only reason we would do so is for nefarious reasons. So perhaps this was instituted by the deep state, that the former dignitaries remain with their security clearance because they're helping with deep state activities. I don't know, I'm just saying. Welcome to the deep state. Future to prove past. Q. And then Q provides us with nope, that was it for that. He was just giving us some past drops about Five Eyes, and let's go up to the next. Okay, and now the next one, Q, provides this one of his posts from April 27, 2018, and it says, not official product. Now, remember they said that about the dossier. It's not official product, meaning it didn't come from Five Eyes. Listen carefully. No evidence to support POTUS targeting. None. Do you understand the gravity of what's unfolding? Evil and corruption. She had to win at all costs. Do you know why? How do people vote for these people? And then he leaves a little video link here. And for some reason, I called it a linky link because probably I was doing drugs when I wrote that. But no, I don't do drugs. But if I did, it wouldn't be pretty. Okay. And this is a clip about Nunes on looking into the origin of the Russian investigation.
President Trump taking Jim Comey to task over newly released memos the former FBI director kept to document his conversations with the president. The Justice Department's Inspector General is now investigating if Comey mishandled classified information by giving some of those documents to a friend who then shared them with a reporter. The president calling that move illegal and saying it raises questions about the Mueller-Russia investigation. Meanwhile, 3 GOP committee chairmen out with a scathing statement on the Comey memos, accusing him of political bias in his interactions with the Obama-era officials versus President Trump. I'm joined right now by one of those lawmakers, House Intelligence Committee Chairman
Now, I'm not going to play all this. It's 11 minutes long, and it'll make our video very, very long. So this is out there in the mainstream news. It was on Fox News, and it's called Nunes Looking into the Origin of the Russia Investigation. And we have looked at this previously, and so let's move on. Q wanted to remind us of these things, so it's important to keep this in mind, that there was no evidence, and that the tips, so far, you know, the so-called tips or the dossier did not come. It was not a official product, so it did not come from Five Eyes. So that's important. All right, let's move on. We're going to get into some really interesting stuff here, so hang on if you can. I know some people get tired and whatever, but we've got some interesting stuff and new stuff coming up here. Not this, but it is coming. Okay, so Q, this was on July 3rd. Q put this little clip in here, and it's just a clip of the headlines, and from July 3rd, I would imagine. Well, July 2nd. Okay, so that's from July 2nd. Trump lawyer Michael Cohen says his family, not the president, is his first loyalty. Michael Cohen, Trump's former personal lawyer, says he now puts family and country first. Trump's former personal lawyer says he'll put family first. Michael Cohen says family, country have my first loyalty. What about Trump? Michael Cohen hits at flipping and says first loyalty is to family, not Trump. Michael Cohen hints at flipping. My first loyalty is not to Trump. Cohen says his loyalty is first to family and country, not Trump. Cohen, family, country, first loyalty, not Trump. So these are from July 2nd. He posted this July 3rd, and he said 4 a.m. What will tomorrow be? Coordinated. What happened to Stormy? Fake news. Q. Now, when he mentions 4 a.m., he's talking about the 4 a.m. drop. And what is that? That is the talking points that go out from the deep state to the mainstream media to tell them what their talking points will be for that day. It is predetermined for them. They do not come up with these things themselves, as you can see by the repeat of the exact same words, just switching a few in between to make it seem like they have original information when they do not. So that was the 4 a.m. drop, obviously, for July 2nd. This was 4:30 a.m. This was 4:58 a.m. This was July 2nd, 4:11 a.m. July 2nd, 5:07 a.m. July 2nd, 5:12 a.m., July 2nd, 4:59, July 2nd, 4:54, July 2nd, 4:46. So obviously they all received the same talking points because they all came out around within an hour of all of one another, less than an hour. They all come out with a similar sounding headline. Now, do we need any more proof that there is indeed a 4 a.m. drop? I don't think so. I don't. This is evident to me. That's a smoking gun right there. And really, if we don't see that, we are blind, because that is as plain as day. And then he says 4 a.m. It's evident that this was the 4 a.m. drop. And he's saying, what will tomorrow be? Well, this was the 3rd. Today is the 4th. So I haven't been out there that much looking at today's headlines. I should, and I probably will before I go to bed, but I have not so far. But he's saying whatever it is, it will be coordinated. What happened to Stormy? Fake news. Q. Well, Stormy went away because there wasn't anything there. But let me tell you, if they could have found something, they would. Now, let's go on. And let's go up to top here. All right, now this is the next one, July 3rd, and he includes a tweet from Lee Stranahan. Breaking, I'm at the federal courthouse, and it seems that Imran Awan's plea deal says that he cannot be charged with any previous non-violent crime. So down below, and this says Central Standard Time, and down below, Q says, think logically. Think IG report. Think what's missing. Do you think this was going to be litigated in this setting? case that implicates some of the most senior elected officials in treason is being handled by the appropriate office. Think national security. Q. Now, I know that people are very upset about this and are saying, oh, that's it, I don't believe in Q anymore. No, this is all a LARP, which is retarded and very childish, because I mean, it's evident that it can't be handled in that. It's got to be handled by the appropriate office. It can't be, it can't be litigated in that setting. So let's go down, and I have pulled out some things from, I've got Praying Medic here, who is a good one to follow. I haven't found anything, any issues with his stuff. Not that I follow him every day, but when I do see what he's provided, I've never found anything that I outright disagree with. So a good one to follow on Twitter, just a shout out to him. And he said, as we've noted previously, Jeff Sessions chose to prosecute the swamp outside of D.C., where fair trials could be conducted. It's possible that the prosecution of those who hired the AWANs is being handled by John Huber. So that is a good point by Praying Medic. And down here he says, but since QAnon said the charges could involve treason, it's equally possible that the prosecution will be done in a military court. That would be that's what I would suspect, that it would be done in a military court. But again, I don't know. I'm not anyone. You may have your own ideas and reasons and good reasons, justifiable reasons why it would not be in a military court. But at any rate, your opinions are always welcome in the comments below. So, Praying Medic here is saying that approach would avoid problems with media coverage. That's true. That is true. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Now, that is it for that. And we're going up to the next. Here we go. We're traveling up. All right. Okay, this is the next one. And it has a tweet by our president, Donald J. Trump. Our Justice Department must not let Awan and Debbie Wasserman Schultz off the hook. The Democratic IT scandal is a key to much of the corruption we see today. They want to make a plea deal to hide what is on their server. Where is the server? Really bad. Well, Q just told us, right? We have the server. Who's we? Q and probably whoever else needs it to do their job in prosecution and in investigation and prosecution. Certainly Donald Trump has access to it. So that's good news. And Q says logical thinking. Why was the case against Awan filed under bank fraud? The result today is regarding the bank fraud. See last, connect. The swamp is being drained. Q. Now he's meaning see my last post. And let me see, I did put a link here and I don't know what I linked to. Oh, it's just the Fox News .com saying that the ex-Democratic aide, IT aide, Imran Awan, pleads guilty to bank fraud in deal with prosecutor. So I'm not going to go out there because we all know that. And if you've had any news on whatsoever, you would be aware of that as well. Now, I realize that today is July 4th and people are out and they're eating hot dogs and they're watching the fireworks and doing all sorts of fun things that I can't do because I'm not there. My heart is there. It really, really is. Anyway, so down here, this says Anon's law fag here regarding Awan. Anon's already figured this out, but I can add that I have suspected for some time that the state charges were just a delay tactic until the main indictments are unsealed. It is also possible, or even likely, given the way they treated Awan, that he will be a prosecution witness. since they would have never let him wander otherwise. Lots more winning in store. I'm enjoying the movie. So that was by an anon, and yeah, I just included that because I thought it was interesting. That's all. I thought that what this person had to say, this anon had to say, was worth putting in there, but this is not from Q. So that is just, I threw that in there free of charge. Anyway, let's go on. And, okay, where does this start? I think it starts here. So Q is actually referencing that same post by the law fag there. So he's referencing that, and then below that he says matters of national security. And he posts a link to, and I'm going to go here, but I will show you the parts of it that we need to look at because we're sure as heck not reading the whole thing. Now, this is the Office of the United States Attorney, and it's 2054 Synopsis of Classified Information Procedures Act, and it is called SIPA. I would imagine it could be called SIPA, but I think it's called SIPA. Or who knows? Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Excuse me. All right, so matters of national security, and that goes into the handling of classified information. And excuse me, I hate to clear my throat when I'm on being like recording because I think it's rude, but I don't have any choice. Okay, so here is a clip from an anon, and it says definitions of term section 1 of SIPA defines classified information and national security, both of which are terms used throughout the statute. Subsection A, in pertinent part, defines classified information as any information or material that has been determined by the United States government pursuant to an executive order, statute, or regulation to require protection against unauthorized disclosure for reasons of national security. So that answers our question about what they consider classified information. And down below here is something from another anon. Now I put these in here just to round out our knowledge here, but this says protective orders of critical importance in any criminal case once there exists any likelihood that classified information may be at issue is the entering of a protective order by the district court. SIPA Section 3 requires the court, upon the request of the government, to issue an order to protect against the disclosure of any classified information disclosed by the United States to any defendant in any criminal trial. The government's motion for a protective order is an excellent opportunity to begin educating the court, including the judge's staff, about SIPA and related issues. It is essential that the motion include a memorandum of law that provides the court with an overview on national security matters and sets forth the authority by which the government may protect matters of national security, including the general authority of the intelligence community pursuant to the National Security Act of 1947, the Central Intelligence Act of 1949, and various executive orders issued by the president. So I'm not going to go on there, but let's go on. Do I have anything else down here? Whoops. Okay. Let's continue on to the next one. And Q says, add another to the list. And this is, well, let's go out and take a look at it. It must be walking there. I don't know. It's very slow. Let's shut down some of this stuff. Here we go. Top Justice Department lawyer resigns. Latest to step down. Well, this is from July 3rd, yesterday. Scott Schools, a top aide to the Deputy Attorney General, is planning to leave the Justice Department at the end of the week, according to two people familiar with his decision. The job title for Schools, Associate Deputy Attorney General, belied his importance as a strategic counselor and repository of institutional memory and ethics at the DOJ. School has played a critical, if behind-the-scenes role in some of the most important and sensitive issues in the building. This year, Schools recommended then Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe be fired for a lack of candor in an internal investigation. Earlier, he advised former Acting Attorney General Sally Yates about the boundaries of her congressional testimony in early 2016. And more recently, Schools has been photographed near the offices of Russia's Special Counsel Robert Mueller as one of a few top DOJ aides to get regular briefings on the status of the investigation. Scott has provided invaluable leadership and counsel in his years at the department, and his service is an example to all. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said in a written statement, "He will be greatly missed, and I wish him the best in his future endeavors." School is the latest departure from a Justice Department battered by political attacks over its handling of the 2016 Hillary Clinton email investigation, and more recently, the Russia investigation. Its previous third-in-command, Rachel Brand, resigned earlier this year. Nominees to run the Justice Department Criminal Division, Civil Rights Division, and Environmental and Natural Resources Division have not been confirmed in the Senate. As for Schools, Slate magazine called him the most important unknown person in D.C., and that status has only grown as his boss, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, has found himself on defense among Republicans in Congress over the Mueller investigation. School began his career as a prosecutor in South Carolina, rising to become a U.S. attorney there and in the Northern District of California, where he signed off on charges against baseball phenom Barry Bonds. For years, School worked along another Justice Department mainstay, David Margolis, who was known as the Yoda of the department. When Margolis died, DOJ brass asked Schools to come back to Washington to fill those shoes. School is said to be leaving for a job in the private sector. One source who worked with Schools said there was no sign he was being pushed out. Another said Schools was not leaving because of a disagreement with the DOJ leadership, but his departure as the highest-ranking career lawyer at the Justice Department will add to a brain drain from the department at the time when it is under attack from President Trump and his allies in Congress. Schools will be replaced on an acting basis by Bradley Weinsheimer, I think, who currently works in the National Security Unit. Weinsheimer has spent 27 years at the DOJ, where he tried homicide and public corruption cases. Unlike School, Weinsheimer will not supervise or otherwise be involved in overseeing the special counsel team probing Russia election interference and whether any Americans tied to the Trump campaign took part. So, let's go back. And Q says, add another to the list. Now, he's not asking a question, he's telling us, just add another to the list. So no matter what they're saying at NPR, we know that he has been forced to resign. And Q asks us, conspiracy? Coincidence? Q. And I would say, no, not a conspiracy. No, not a coincidence. All right, so now we've got some interesting stuff. And Q starts by posting this picture, and it's a picture of Air Force One. And here is President Trump. I'm off to save the world. Aren't you coming? So I like that little meme. And Q posts this picture. And it is a picture of the Apple logo being projected onto what appears to be a lamp, and it's taken sideways, so it's a little bit difficult to see, but if you turn it the right way, this is the lamp, this is the shade, these are the blinds, and we're going to see what exactly this is in a minute so we don't have to hurt our brains with wondering. And what it is this. So let me make this bigger for you and for me. And what we see here is that projection was taken because that is the lamp. Those are the blinds. That is the little edge of the chair that's showing. And it says, I know confirming the, this is very hard to read. The something is going to be tough and will also flood the bread. We need some type of guidance. What should we have ready? I know you work, or USA, but we, Anons, work for you. Tell us what we need to be ready. And Q puts below, will inspect review. Marine One proofs forthcoming. Air Force One inside. Thereafter, more and more Q. So this was specifically provided to us as proof, because who else would be, who else would have access to a picture inside Air Force One? No one. Except a very few, right? You would have to have top clearance, and that is very clearly an apple being projected onto the wall right in this area, right over here. And here's the other side, and the other side, see, this is it turned, just flipped horizontally. So yeah, it's definitely taken above aboard or Air Force One. And we're going to see more of that. Oh, I don't think, did I ever talk about this picture right here? I don't think I did. I'm sorry. Jumping back to what we just left. This is Ed O'Callaghan. This is Scott Schools. Scott Schools, a top aide to the Deputy Attorney General, is planning to leave the Justice Department at the end of the week, according to NPR. In 2017, he, O'Callaghan, became the Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General of the National Security Division at the U.S. Department of Justice. Now, this is from May 22nd, and remember, Q asked us, who is Ed O'Callaghan? And that is him. He was the principal, he is the Principal Deputy Attorney General of the National Security Division at the U.S. Department of Justice. So, sorry, I missed that. Make sure I didn't miss anything else. Nope. And now we're back up to where we were with the interesting Apple logo projection inside Air Force One. And Q, once again, proves that he does have access. He told us that he was going to provide an inside picture from Air Force One, and he indeed did so. So I don't know how this could be a 12-year-old in his basement doing a LARP. Not sure. Not sure how he'd pull that one off. Okay, now, here, Q says, for years, school worked alongside another Justice Department mainstay, David Margolis, who was known as the Yoda of the department. When Margolis died, DOJ brass asked school to come back to Washington to try to fill those shoes. Divide, they try. Fail, they will. Everything has meaning. Q. So Q is just actually lifting these lines. You can see that they have quotation marks around them, and he's just lifting those lines from the NPR article. But obviously those lines are of importance to us, right? And he's saying divide, they try, fail, they will, everything has meaning. Q. So I'm fully suspecting that there'll be more information coming about the names that we're seeing here, because these are they're new names to me. I have never seen the name schools in any of the drops before this, or Margolis, unless I'm mistaken. So I'm pretty sure that there'll be more information forthcoming. Now he's visiting this again about the... So Q puts another picture, and he interposes, or like he transposes that picture into this big picture so that we can see where exactly it was taken. And it was taken above Air Force One. Now, and this is called Welcome Aboard JPEG. Now, here you see the reflection in the back of someone's iPhone, which is interesting. You can see the lamp, same shades here, and you see them holding on to another phone in their hand. And he said, pic related, I just took this photo. I am holding wife's Anon iPhone 10 and taking a picture of the reflection of the back of my iPhone 7 Plus. Is this what Q is doing with the Air Force One and previous partial Geodis headshots? Now, I didn't know what this was, Geodis. God Emperor of the United States, an acronym for President Donald Trump that is used somewhere jokingly by the pro-Trump Reddit community. So I don't know. Oh, okay. This is just somebody, they're just trying to replicate that photo, I think. Because this is posted by an Anon, this photo, and this is posted by an Anon, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I see. This Anon has taken this and superimposed it here onto the bigger picture so that we can see. That wasn't Q. This was an Anon's work. So well done, Anon, whoever you are. And this was someone maybe trying to dispute it by, trying to replicate a similar photo. And here it is again, and there is President Trump, and you can see this is definitely the corner in Air Force One. It's pretty evident. And down below, Q said, who would have thought the Twitter phone could be so useful? What does he mean by the Twitter phone? Well, I think Q has a specific phone that he uses specifically for Twitter, and he probably is in charge of Trump's Twitter phone. He probably has charge of that, because usually people don't do their own Twitters, but maybe President Trump does. But at any rate, this phone is used for Twitter, and that's what he means by, who thought the Twitter phone could be so useful? Do reflections violate national security rules? Where must one be located in order to obtain a reflection on the back of a phone of that image? Image provided here has been distorted. Q. Well, you'd have to be in front of the phone, right? So there you go. All very interesting. Now, we'll get into some other interesting stuff. Okay, let me get up here to this, just seeing where the next one starts. And Q is posting this by an Anon. And it's a picture. And it says, shills going nuts tonight. Something huge must be coming this week. Several months late on whining about Iran, back to spamming LARP Booner Schizo from the 4chan days. Sad. And Q says, trolling is fun. Hussein, Trump interior equals identical minus small changes. World news in rear literally placed same prior to each departure. Placing that mug holder near the lamp was the hook. Enjoy. Q. Well, that's odd. Now, I got this from the Great Awakening board, Reddit, subreddit, and it says, I think we are focusing too much on the pictures and not enough on the words in the post. There's definitely something there. Help. Trolling is fun. Hussein, Trump, interior, identical, minus small changes. World news in rear, literally placed same prior to each departure. Placing that mug holder near the lamp was the hook. Enjoy. Q. Q is telling us that the interior of Air Force One during Obama admin versus the interior of Air Force One during Trump admin is identical, minus small changes. Q then says world news in rear literally placed same prior to each departure. Notice the world the word world is in parentheses. I have to wonder if Q is referring to ABC World News. Looking at the pics in the post, I don't see any objects that could be interpreted as world news. Finally, Q says placing that mug holder near the lamp was the hook. Enjoy. My first question is this: why is there a mug holder behind the president when there's clearly one on his desk? The corner behind the desk with the lamp on it holds, as far as I can tell, a box of Kleenex, which appears to be some stationery paper, some sort of glass bottle, and a mug holder. I just don't see the need for a mug holder there unless the president sets his mug there while he turns around and blows his nose. And I think the trolling is fun statement is not meant for us anons, but rather lurkers, and I would agree with that assessment. So is the mug holder there for something else? Is it bugged, or is it holding a camera? Was someone from World News using the mug holder while they were there in the area setting something up? All food for thought. But something tells me we're missing the point that is intended. Something also tells me that the mug holder has everything to do with the point Q is trying to convey. And then we have Q post 1677. Who would have thought the Twitter phone would be so useful? Do reflections violate national security rules? Where must one be located in order to obtain a reflection on the back of a phone of that image? Image provided here has been distorted, stretched. Q. Q asks, where must one be located in order to obtain a reflection on the back of a phone of that image? In my mind, they would have to be either in the president's chair or directly beside him. The person with the phone would obviously have to be in front of the president somewhere. Or is the picture actually a reflection off the phone placed somewhere in the corner by the lamp? Q says the image distorted, stretched, so that makes me wonder how much smaller the actual picture reflection actually is. Q also asked, who would have thought the Twitter phone could be so useful? Obviously, there is a Twitter phone in that office somewhere. Is someone holding it, or was it placed somewhere? Was ABC World News given access to the office? Were they allowed to take a phone in there or plant one? Well, these are all interesting questions that we don't have the answer to. So I wanted to stick that in there, just kind of fuel some thoughts about what Q possibly meant. I don't think any of us know for sure, but I am pretty sure that Q will be cluing us in subsequently at some point. So let's go up to this picture, and this is a picture of a United airplane through the window, obviously, of an airport, I would assume, and it's pretty hard to see, but there is a United. It does say United on this airplane. It's a small commuter plane. I've taken those many times myself in just doing hops and skips places. So, that's what that is. It's a United Airlines commuter plane. And there's obviously a reason that Q has pointed that out to us. But at this point, we don't know. But we will have some idea. Now, I think I'm going to, because I've got quite a bit coming up about this next post, and I think it is from the July 4th, and if it is, I'm going to break because we will have finished July 3rd, and I'll break and start in July 4th. But let's see here. Well, we're almost done. Let's push through. I don't think there's any need to make a whole separate video. So we're almost done. Let's push through. We just have a lot to cover in this particular post right here. A lot of interesting stuff, and it's all new. It's new to me, but pretty jaw-dropping. So again, we have the picture. Here's a bigger picture with the United Airlines. Definitely a commuter flight. It's not a huge airplane here. Obviously at an airport, and somebody is taking it from inside the terminal. And below, there's another picture provided, and this picture is obviously taken in Hong Kong. Now, there's two things that stand out to me in this picture, and I think that this is what Q is drawing our attention to. Here's number one. This is a white guy, and for some reason he's kind of in the middle of the frame, and I'm thinking that the attention is on this person. Here is another man that is certainly Caucasian. This person is certainly Caucasian, and they are walking across the street, And the other thing that I found quite interesting was when you go up here, it says Western Pacific Kindergarten, and it's written in English. Everything else here, any sign that's discernible, is all in, I'm not sure what language, maybe Mandarin. I'm not sure exactly what the main language is in Hong Kong, but I think it's Mandarin, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be mistaken. Now, Q doesn't say, what do you see? He says, who do you see? So we know that someone in this picture is the target of this shot. Now, who is it? I would bet my life on it that it's this guy, and Q later confirms that it is that guy. And who do you see? Well, first of all, what is Western Pacific Kindergarten? What is it? Is it of any use to us? Well, let's go see. Q has provided us with a link, so let's go take a look at it. Now, I may have put that link there. I think I put that link there. Never mind. Q didn't provide it for us. Mishel provided it for us. Thanks, Mishel. You're welcome. Okay. China horrified by allegations of child abuse at kindergarten. Authorities promise swift response after parents claim toddlers have been molested, spiked with needles, and drugged with mysterious white pills. Any of this sound familiar? Should we be shocked at any of this? I don't think so. Was that plane connected? Were they trafficking children? Let's see. Chinese authorities are promising swift and decisive action after horrific allegations of child abuse surfaced at an upmarket nursery just a few miles east of the Communist Party's leadership compound in Beijing. Since Wednesday, Chinese media outlets have reported claims from outraged parents that toddlers at the nursery in Beijing's I'm not sure how to pronounce that district, were molested, spiked with needles, and drugged with mysterious white pills. For 2 days, my daughter has been crying. I'm not sick, so why give me shots? One mother told China Woman's News, a party-run newspaper. Another parent claimed children had been told to take 2 white tablets each day after lunch for reasons that are unclear. Disobedient students were also forced to stand naked or were locked up in a dark room at the kindergarten, a third parent told the magazine. I am trembling with anger now, a fourth parent was quoted as saying by the Beijing News on Thursday as relatives gathered outside the nursery to demand access to CCTV footage that might confirm the abuse. The nursery is run by RYB Education. Remember that name, RYB Education, a company that is listed on the New York Stock Exchange and describes itself as China's largest early childhood education service provider with more than 4,400 staff. In its NASDAQ profile, RYB says it was founded on the core values of care and responsibility. I think they must have very different definitions of care and responsibility than I do or you do. Don't you think? It operates more than 1,100 nurseries and preschool centers in 307 Chinese cities for children up to the age of 6. So I wonder how many children we're talking about. There's 307 centers. 307. And that's in China. It's in other countries. Reports detailing allegations of China's third recent child abuse scandal triggered an outpouring of online rage. Earlier this month, a Shanghai nursery found itself at the eye of a similar storm after claims children in its care had been beaten and force-fed wasabi. I don't know what's happening to human beings on this earth, honestly. I couldn't treat an animal that way. On Weibo, China's Twitter, one story about the alleged child abuse attracted more than 7,000 comments. One reader, using the alias Gudong, lashed out at the devil teachers allegedly responsible. This nursery seems like some kind of hell. The government must give us an explanation. Who on earth allows this nursery to become a devil's nest? Patrick Poon, a Hong Kong-based campaigner for amnesty, tweeted, "Terrible, independent investigation needed." Strikingly, after 2 days of high-profile coverage in China party-controlled press, there was virtually no mention of the scandal in Beijing's main newspaper on Friday morning. I wonder why. That suggested propaganda officials, nervous about the potential for a political backlash from China's middle classes, had ordered newsrooms to dial back their reporting. Well, that's no different than happens in America, is it? In an online statement, RYB said it was deeply sorry for the situation. Well, I'm sorry, RYB. Deeply sorry isn't enough. Anyway, and awaiting the conclusion of the government's investigations. Oh, I bet they are. It said, "We are cooperating with the police by providing relevant surveillance material and equipment. The teachers involved have been suspended and we are cooperating with police." What choice do they have, really? Educational authorities vowed that any staff found to have caused physical or psychological harm to children would be severely punished. Well, I hope so. Dozens of curious locals and some men who appeared to be plainclothes security agents gathered outside the nursery on Friday afternoon beneath a billboard bearing a photograph of two smiling girls and the slogan, "Make children happy and competitive." Yeah. One mother who emerged from the building said she believed the allegations were now being actively investigated, but was keeping her child at home. Well, that's a very, very good idea. They will not hide anything, said the woman who declined to give her name. They will not hide anything. I think she's being naive, or else because she's in a communist country, I think maybe she's just saying what they expect her to say because she doesn't want any trouble. Yeah, they won't hide anything. The government, they're always trying to help us. "I'm the government and I'm here to help you." Yeah. A second mother was less certain. "I'm quite worried the whole thing will be hushed up." She said, "Lots of people believe we can no longer remain silent. That kind of thing has happened over and over again in China." All right, well, let's go back because there's more. Now, let's go here because we can. Okay, U.S. report implicates Uganda government officials in human trafficking. And, a report by the U.S. government has implicated Uganda government officials in trafficking persons from Uganda to different parts of the world, especially Middle East, accused the state of not doing enough to stop the practice. And somewhere in here, titled Trafficking in Persons 2018 and launched by U.S. by Secretary of State Dr. Michael Pompeo last week, the report indicates that whereas the Uganda government is making significant efforts towards elimination of human trafficking, it did not meet the minimum standard in several key areas. Now, somewhere in here is something about the kindergarten because there is a kindergarten there as well. Now, can I find it? Let me see. Let's do Western Pacific. No matches. I'm not sure how this ties in, but it did somewhere. At any rate, not sure how that is related, except that the Uganda government officials in human trafficking. But for some reason, there was maybe it's why. What is the country's name? Why? What is the company? Dang it. I think that same company, whatever it is. Here, let's go back up to here. I just don't want to give you false information if I can help it. And where is the owner? They are traded on NASDAQ and their stock is tanking. RYB. So let's go over here. RYB. Nope. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's go on. I may have put that there erroneously. Now this is interesting. This is from Google Maps, and it takes us to Here's specific kindergarten. Now, the one with the sign that we originally looked at has been closed, and now it is located around the corner. So, not sure if that has any significance, but we're just taking a look at that. There's obviously a Caucasian there. Taking a look, not sure if he's going in there or what, but this is from Google. Now, let's go on because there's more. Now, that company is the largest early childhood education service provider in China. Unparalleled national scale and network with direct and franchise model. 80 direct plus 175 franchise kindergartens. They have 2,942 staff, 853 play and learn centers. So this is a huge, huge company. 300 cities and towns in China. They are in 320,463 students enrolled. So we are potentially looking at something massive, massive. And here I found on Twitter, when I searched for this, child sexual abuse accusations broke out in China on Thanksgiving Day. Needle marks were found in the toddlers of RYB kindergarten in Beijing. White pills were allegedly fed. Grown men were allegedly brought to a dark room in the kindergarten and sexually assaulted the 3-year-old toddlers while other children were told to stand and watch. Now, RYB Bookrunners is Credit Suisse, Morgan Stanley, CICC, and BNB Paribas. China's two-child policy would also be a boon to the sector, as 18.5 million new babies were born in 2016 alone, with the population of children aged 0 to 6 now at 100.5 million this year, according to government statistics. Now is a very good time for RYB to get into the market, as it would then have the capital to grab more market share quickly, said Marina Ku, head of China Education Research at CLSA. And Ku said she expected consolidation in the sector, with more bigger players going public and having the ability to gobble up smaller rivals. The severe anxiety of the Chinese middle class, who are always worried that their children would lag behind others, is also a major factor that has been driving the growth, said Yang, the 31-year-old mother. Now, these are the book runners for the offering: Credit Suisse, Morgan Stanley, CICC, and BNB Paribas. So that's interesting to know. I know there's going to be more coming out about this. I know that I know. Now, this was on Twitter as well, and it said, the picture isn't accurate. It is about the Western Pacific kindergarten sign. Sick. We saw an arrest of a Hillary Rodham Clinton Foundation associate who was the CEO of this organization, Joel Greats. But that she spelled his name wrong, because I went searching for him and couldn't find him under that spelling. But indeed, there is a Hillary Rodham Clinton Foundation associate that was the CEO of this organization. And incidentally enough, that picture of that Caucasian that was walking across the road there was him. That's who it was. So here we have, and I'm not sure if I got that from Twitter or Reddit. Could it be Joel Getz, the guy that went down for the systemic abuse of children in the Chinese kindergartens? And yes, that is exactly who it is. So we know that there's something that's going to come out about that, because Q is telling us about the kindergarten. He's pointing to that as a clue, and the clue is pretty easy to follow and look it up online, who that kindergarten, what they represent, what they do, who they're connected to. And this Joel Getz guy is the CEO, and he went down for the systemic abuse of children, and he's connected to the Clinton Foundation. Gee, wow. All right, let's go look at this. We're almost done. Ex-Clinton Foundation official tied to Chinese kindergarten embroiled in bizarre sexual abuse scandal. Raise your hand if you're surprised. Anyone? No, I didn't think so. I didn't see any hands at all. Okay, a former Clinton, and it's interesting because somebody said it looks like um, oh, Prince William. Somebody said it looked like Prince William, and it does. This guy does look a little bit like Prince William, so I see the similarity. A former Clinton Foundation official who is now an independent director at a company which operates private schools in China has found himself embroiled in a bizarre child abuse scandal involving needles, pills, brown syrup, nudity, and sexual molestation, according to parents. The head of a Beijing kindergarten has been fired after China launched a nationwide investigation into a chain of private schools operated by RYB Education, and their NASDAQ sign is $RYB, following claims of abuse at multiple locations. Parents report at least 8 toddlers with mysterious needle marks, while others said their children were forced to take white pills that were supposed to be a little secret between the children and teachers, along with some sort of brown syrup given to the students. Children were also allegedly stripped naked and forced to stand or locked in a dark room, one parent said. Unidentified mother, who has made a viral video about the abuse, told reporters Thursday that her son was injected with a brown liquid by a teacher and made to strip along with other students before being, quote, examined by a naked adult male stranger, examined by a naked adult male stranger, describing it as an, quote, action like sexual intercourse. When the mother pressed the principal to allow her to review closed-circuit footage from the school, she was denied. Any surprise? Any surprise there? Didn't think so. Now, I am not allowed to view the video from where I am because I'm in a communist country right now, and I hate it. But, I mean, I do love my country. I just hate what it's become. And I consider myself American because I spent a good portion of my life there, and want to be back there because I am sick of all sorts of things here, even though I do love Canada. Okay, medical examination of 8 children confirmed that the injuries were in fact caused by needles. So I don't think, well, this is interesting. Furious parents gathered in front of RYB Education New World Kindergarten on Friday demanding answers, while China's, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Xinhua news agency reports the children were also sexually molested. So the Beijing kindergarten at the heart of the controversy is located next to a large military base. Okay, all right. How many had bells and whistles go off right then when I said that? I bet most of you. The Beijing kindergarten at the heart of the controversy is located next to a large military base, sparking rumors that military officials had been sexually abusing the children. Notably, the husband of the kindergarten's director was previously an official at the base. However, Fan Zhengfeng, the base's political commissioner, told PLA Daily that there was no evidence that military personnel are involved in the abuse. Oh, of course not. They would never do a thing like that. Li Jing, mother of a 3-year-old girl, told AFP her daughter had not been abused, but said other children had explained how they were coerced into taking pills. Other kids were saying it's not to be called taking a pill, but a reward, and the pill is not to be called a pill, but a jelly bean, and it is a little secret between the child and teacher. I asked my child after I heard what other parents said, and my child said that they had taken 2 white pills after lunch and slept after eating the pills, one father told CCTV outside the school on Thursday. These latest allegations are not the first involving RYB schools. Oh, so there's others. In April, the head of a different RYB kindergarten in Beijing was suspected after admitting that teachers had made severe mistakes when videos emerged of children being thrown and kicked in the back. Oh, you just call that a mistake? A mistake? Oh, I'm sorry. I mistakenly kicked you in the back. Oh, I'm sorry. I mistakenly slapped you in the face. Oh, I'm sorry. I mistakenly kicked you. Oh, I mistakenly pushed you downstairs. I'm sorry. I mistakenly raped you. Oh, I'm sorry. I mistakenly shot and killed you and then buried you and danced on your grave shouting hallelujah. But it was just a mistake. Just a mistake. In October 2016, 2 children from an RYB kindergarten in the Northeast Julin province were sentenced to 34 months in prison after jabbing children in the buttocks, head, and inside of their mouths with sewing needles. 34 months for that? Just 34 months? Are you kidding me? I don't have children, but if I did and somebody jabbed needles in their mouth, I'm not sure what I'd do. I really am not sure what I'd do. Link to the Clinton Foundation. Here we are. RYB Education operates 80 kindergartens and has another 175 franchise locations across 130 cities in China, according to filings. All of its directors are Chinese, with the exception of former Clinton Foundation executive and associate dean at Yale, Joel Getz, 52, who is listed as an independent director. You, Mr. Getz, are a pervert. Disgusting man. Mr. Joel A. Getz is independent director of the company. Prior to that, Mr. Getz served as director of development for the William J. Clinton Foundation in New York and was president of the Mayor's Fund to Advance New York City. And I am spitting mad that the government of Canada gave $20 million to the Clinton Foundation. Why? Anyway. So I'm not going to get into all of this. There's a lot. And if you Google this kindergarten, you're going to find it. So it's all out there. And it's all pretty disgusting. And makes me wonder what we aren't being told. Because what we are being told is pretty disgusting. And Q is bringing it up for a reason. And that plane is tied into it. I can bet you. I can bet you. So we're going to find out that these children have been trafficked from where? Who knows? They're probably being trafficked around. I don't know. I don't know what's happening here, but it's not good. Because if it was, Q wouldn't have brought it up. So let's go up to the very last post, and that will close out tonight. And I will probably be posting tomorrow, I would assume. Now, this is the last one, and Q is making reference to a earlier post. Disinformation is real. Disinformation is necessary. Ex-U.S. military National Guard won false. S.A. Saudi Arabia? True. I'm not sure. Why was this necessary? What questions were asked regarding Saudi? Is it Saudi Arabia? S.A. Must be. Prior to SA events, why is this relevant? Think mirror, look there, or here, or there. Truth is behind you. Now that was directly after about the post about the kindergarten, and Q says, today as patriots we celebrate our independence. And this leads to a YouTube video. And I'm not going to go out to it because I will get a copyright strike because I got one for the last video that I made. And I would like to keep coming to you guys. So what it is JFK reading the Declaration of Independence. And if you Google that, you will find the video for yourself. It's out there and I have seen it before, so it is a popular video. Now, that is it for tonight. I'm going to leave it there. It's 11:33 p.m. Eastern Time, and it is July 4th still. Woohoo! And I wish I was there hearing fireworks right now, and I celebrate with you all. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night's sleep. Stay safe.